Katrina here from Scrappy Horses. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're working on sort of a notebook journal, and the papers I'm using today are from Victoria Designs, and it's the Shabby Chic Journal Kit. And you can see on your screen there exactly what is included in this kit. Before we get started, I'm going to give you the sizes. The outside of this journal is 7 3/4 by 6 inches, and the inside pages I've chosen to do 5.5 inches tall by 7.12 inches wide. That's the size that the paper will come off when you go to print it. Printing it this size, I was able to get 8 pages per 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. I printed on the front and the back. So now that we have all the numbers out of the way, I will tell you that all we've been doing so far in this video is scoring down the middle of these pages so that we can fold them in half and have a nice crisp fold. And now we're done with that. So we're moving on to inking up. Now this particular little die is from Cas-ual Fridays. They really have a lot of great stamps if you're needing to make a card or a journal or a scrapbook page to show support for someone or to document your time through a difficult journey. This journal happens to be for my mom, who was just recently diagnosed with breast cancer. And I thought, you know what, she has to go to the doctor. We have to write down all these notes and everything and keep doctor's cards and, you know, all of the stuff that goes along with that. And I thought, you know what, it would be so much more fun if she had a pretty journal where she could just keep track of all that. And much more fun than writing it down on scraps of paper or post-it notes. So that was the idea for making this journal. So this is for my mom, and I've tried to include some things that I know that she'll like and will be uplifting to her. Now, after inking up the pieces and inking up all of the pages, I've gone to some of the embellishments, and I'm going to use this particular embellishment, which does come in the kit from Victoria Designs. I'm going to use it to, one of them I'm just going to use as decor, but one of them I'm going to use as a place to slip a pen. Now I'm going to show you at the end of the video how this journal works and all of the different pages, and you'll see where the pen goes. I'm hoping to find a prettier little pen to put in than the one that I demonstrated with. Now here I'm just inking up some more of the little embellishment pieces. You get a chance to sort of see those as I go through and ink them. You're not going to see me ink them all though, because that would be kind of boring. I have my scoreboard out because I'm scoring some of the ones that I'm going to fold over the page. This is a little tag that comes with it. I thought that was really cute, and you'll see what I do with that here in a minute. Now, I went ahead and printed one of the pages twice, and I cut this at an angle to create a little pocket, and I will glue it in later, and you'll see that I'll glue it right over where the page is. This lace I actually had cut for another project. Decided I didn't want these little danglies on it, so I came back to use it on this project, but I didn't want those raw edges showing. So I'm just going to bring in a pretty piece of white ribbon to go over the top of that, and there you go. Now it makes a nice little pocket with this pretty Victorian sort of looking embellishment. I think my mom is going to like this album. She really likes antiques, and she likes, you know, the Victorian era, so I think she's going to really like this. I think she's going to enjoy keeping things in it. Now this is going to create a pocket later when we get it glued into the book. Right now I'm just gluing down the ribbon, and I'm just kind of pulling it over. I didn't like the way this edge turned out, and so later on I came back and I straightened it up. See how it kind of bends over there? And so I'm just going to straighten it up there a little bit. And it turned out just fine then when I put it inside the book. I think I go ahead and I trim it off. Yes, there we go. And again, it's not going to ravel or fray because when I glue it in the book, the glue is going to hold that in place. Now, I wanted some pink pearls, and I did not have any. And at the time of this recording, we are in quarantine mode. So if you see this later, you know, after we're out of quarantine, I couldn't go out and get some pink pearls. So I did have these lovely white Kaisercraft pearls, and I colored them with my Copic marker, and it worked just great. So if you're ever in need of a different color pearl and you've got some white ones, the Copic worked great on this particular gem. So now I'm just placing them on here just to sort of embellish this lace. Just putting them right over the little holes that were there in the lace. I'm having a little trouble with that one. He doesn't want to go on there, but there we go. It's there now. I did rub over those pearls and the color did not rub off. So I was happy about that since I couldn't go out and get some pink pearls and I didn't want to wait to order some. Here's a stamp set from Cas-ual Fridays that you could, if you wanted to, stamp over with that large ribbon stamp that you saw. You could stamp over the die that you saw earlier that I was inking. Now this says, hope is stronger than fear. I didn't want stronger than fear. I just wanted hope is strong. So what I did is I was very careful just to ink that much verbiage on my stamp. And I'm going to put it on a little banner that is from the embellishment kit. I cut that little banner twice, same size. I inked around the edges, and now I'm putting the hope is strong. I'm stamping that on to the one of the banners. What I end up doing is gluing the banners together, wrong side to wrong side, and I slip a paper clip into the middle of it, just one part of the paper clip. So then it becomes a sort of decorative paper clip, and you'll see it later in the book when I actually put it in the book. Here I'm just adding some Bo Bunny, I think they're called double dot gems, and they come with little rhinestones in a light blue, pearls in a light blue, and then as you can see, rhinestones in dark blue and pearls in dark blue. And I like these. They adhere very well. They stay. I don't need to put extra glue, although sometimes if I'm putting a big one on, I might. But these little guys seem to stay on there pretty well. So there is that finished up, and you'll see it later in the book and see how I use it there. All right, let's move on and talk about how I bound this little journal book. It was a really simple binding technique, and I sort of just made it up as I went along. So bear with me here. I took my pages and I clipped them onto the cover so that they would not move. I took a ruler and I decided that I was going to pierce about every 3/4 of an inch, or 0.75. I put this pad behind, and I have this little piercing tool. This is all from Close to My Heart, and I don't know if they sell this anymore or not. I will give you a link below in the comment box to where you can find Close to My Heart products, and I'll do a little research and see if they still have that. So on the actual pages, there's like printing as to where the binding might be, if there were binding in this book. So I just started there, and like I said, I went every 0.75 inches or 3/4 of an inch. And I just pierced a hole. Now, when I got down to the bottom of this, there was more room left, but not enough to get another 3/4 of an inch. So I just went to where the bottom of the stitching looked like it was in the actual page, and I just pierced another hole. You'll see how I do this here in just a minute. It's no big deal. I just wanted to fill it to the bottom, but it just wasn't a whole nother section for me. So here it comes. It ended up being like 1/4 of an inch or something. It's just a little tiny bit there. There we go. Now I pulled a craft needle and threaded up some oboe reed thread. Now, I know that this is not something that the majority of you are going to have laying about your house. I get that. If you've got some carpet thread, any sort of like a button thread, sometimes they sell thread that's just to put buttons on. You could use that. Any kind of strong thread will work. So I went up through hole 1, went down through hole 3, came up through hole 2, down through hole 4. And I just kept going that pattern. And like I said, I just sort of made this up. There are probably some there are wonderful videos on YouTube. Nick the Booksmith has great videos on bookbinding. I was just, for this little journal, I wasn't that particular, so I just made up my own. But there are some really good professionals out there on YouTube who show some great bookbinding techniques. All right, so I've come up now, and now I'm at the back of my journal, and I cut these strings very, very long for a reason. You're going to see here in a minute. I'm going to tie this into a very, very, very tight knot, and this is one reason that I use this oboe reed thread, because I tie it tight, and I don't want that thread to break. So that's why I'm recommending a strong, strong thread. So I'm just coming through and I'm tying a nice knot in here. And I'm just going to push that up a little bit, make sure it's really, really tight. Okay. And if one knot was good, then 2 knots has got to be better. That's always my philosophy. All right. And when I make oboe reeds, I really was an oboist, and so that's why I have oboe reed thread laying about my house. And if you watch many of my videos, you see me use it quite a bit because I have lots of it. All right, so I'm going back down through that very bottom hole, coming back up through the top, and that gives me one more layer of that thread holding those pages in place. All right, and I'm just going to tie this off, and again, even when I make oboe reeds, I must do, at least 5 knots on my reeds. So, I just kind of go overboard. Again, I'm leaving that thread long. I'm doing that for a reason, and you're going to see in just a little while what I do with that thread. Coming in now with pink seam binding, and I have a huge reel of that, so I'm more than happy to use it. This is the front cover. I'm just gluing over the front cover. Now, my string is caught back behind it, but it's not glued in because I'm not gluing the back of that ribbon. So don't worry that it's getting caught back there because it's not. All right, so now I'm going to bring that die cut from Cas-ual Fridays, the Hope ribbon, and I did do a little stamping over that, just a little more. I did cut that from some paper from Vector Designs that was in the kit, but I added a little extra with a stamp. Now I'm using the little Hope die, and I'm going to put it right over the front. I used fabric tack for the larger die, and I used a Zig 2-way pen for the little Hope die. All right, so let's come in and decorate some of these pages. They are so pretty. and there are lots of ways to decorate them, but I decided to use that little embellishment that we inked up and scored. And this is the one I'm going to use to hold a pen into the journal. And I will show you here with this little crochet hook that it creates that pocket right there. And I thought this was just screaming out for one of those cute little gems. You saw me do that little doily. It got sort of lost in the video. I apologize for that, but you'll see it later in the book, okay? I promise it's there. Now here's the pocket that I am putting in, and you can see that I'm putting it right over a page. I just copied this page twice, and so I put that in there, and that will create a pocket that Mom can put some things in, whether it be, directions or instructions, whatever she needs to put in there. Now these are these little tags or bookmarks, and I'm going to go ahead and hole punch those with my Crocodile, and then I'm going to bring in some more seam binding, and this time white, and just kind of loop it through, and now those can go inside the book. And I have a couple of those. I'm going to cut it with some pinking shears. This will keep that from fraying, and also it just is pretty. Gives it a decorative edge. Now you can see what I did with those strings. I went ahead and tied a bunch of charms onto them. And here's the time where we get to take a look at this journal completed. There were a few things I didn't get taped, so during this you'll be able to see exactly everything I did in the journal. So we're opening up the front page here, and you can see some little Bow Bunny gems. This was part of the embellishment kit, and I just glued it in two sides, which created a pocket. And there's a place where we can put a pen. Again, I'm going to see if I can find a prettier one to put in there for her. And open it up now to the next page, and there's the other side with that Bow Bunny gem. Here is the paper clip that I told you about. I just happen to have a blue paper clip that I could stick in there. This will come off. She can put it on any page she wants to put that on. Some pages where she can write things or put pictures, articles that she reads. Another little embellishment. That little swirly was just in my stash. I'm not sure where it was from. I thought that was perfect for this journal. Be positive. A couple more pages. I didn't do much to embellish these. I like the print on that. It has like it has little I don't know what they are. It's just pretty. All right, and there's the other side of that embellishment, and like I said, I left that open there. And there's the page we glued the pocket in. And there's a couple more embellishments. Again, all of these embellishments come with the kit from Vector Designs. That place has a little built-in note card you can write on. Now these little doilies, that's the one that I didn't get taped. It's I just cut that on my Cricut and added those as a couple more tuck spots. And there's the other bookmark or little tag. So there it is. It is complete. The journal is complete. Thanks for joining me. I'm so happy you came by. Questions or comments, leave them in the box below. More than happy to answer. Take care of yourselves, stay home, and keep crafting. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.